Gravity? Screw you, Newton. Rules are made to be broken. Welcome. Take a seat. Coffee, tea, Adderall, try a marshmallow. Also, I have hacked your neural link, removed Massad's pager. Your MK Ultra activation word has been deactivated. And the UK police have been distracted by an anonymous report that your neighbour lacks a TV license. Now we can talk. Outer Wilds is torture for brainlets, and yet somehow I love it. You play as a four-eyed monstrosity of the thankfully waning race of Harthians, born to a planet the approximate size of a baseball stadium. Waning because there's barely enough of your species to field a hockey game. And thankfully because I hate aliens. A newly appointed astronaut in their advanced wood-based space program, you awaken after ritualistically spending the night with an old man. And post-consumption of a morning after marshmallow are unleashed upon the solar system. Please note that space driver's ed was not a serious consideration during training. Released by Mobius Digital in 2019, Outer Wilds is the indie brainchild of Alex Beecham after taking his final year thesis a little too seriously. And that's about as much as the cult-like fanbase will allow me to tell you, without calling for my death in a public fatwa, as spoilers are haram. Now, that might seem a bit too far, but I get it. In the 10th grade, I had a friend who, upon learning of my favourite mystery anime, Higurashi, pulled up Wikipedia to read the ending, to make sure he'd like it. Never before has my opinion of someone dropped so quickly. But the point is, mystery and narrative progression is everything in Outer Wilds, and if you're not prepared to work for your ending cutscene, what are you doing here? Streamer slop is down the hall. Understand, difficulty in Outer Wilds isn't determined by gameplay, puzzles, monsters, or even your capacity for logical thinking, but your own self-respect. No. Resisting the gnawing temptation to look up a guide and peek behind the curtain. To give up struggling and turn your thinking into a series of mechanically accurate steps. And maybe some of you think that's fine, that if any game gives you trouble, you should cheat a little. After all, it's just a game, right? Without calling you a slur, all I can say is, don't sell yourself short. Humans were once filthy animals that enjoyed shitting in the woods and dying to dysentery. And those cave grognards made the phenomenal leap from stabbing a lion with a sharpened stick to smacking rocks together so hard they started thinking, "Hello, Chad!" All to enable you to crank one out while listening to ASMR. Your little sister goes too deep on the circumcision.
お兄ちゃん大好き。A bit too much off the top.
Basically, you can do this. And so can I. So inappropriately touch that like button, comment your feet size, and subscribe to the Patreon for exciting extras like whatever the hell this is. And now, after thoroughly beating into you that I refuse to explain anything, let me explain gameplay and lose the respect I've earned from the Outer Wilds community. Not from the hardliners, of course, as they've been planning my ritualistic beheading to banjo music since I blasphemed by mentioning the game involves space and implied it possesses mechanics. Mechanics like a translation device to document alien smut. The signal scope to tune in for some sick beats, and the scalp launcher for capturing high-res pictures in the women's bathroom. Each run, you must use this array of tools to extend your research and understanding of the solar system around you. And by run, I mean death. Death by gravity, death by velocity, mating pressed by a lift. Forgetting oxygen, forgetting to wear a spacesuit, forgetting where you parked. Raptured by the sand goddess, being smothered within her sandy thighs. Death by lava, pond, cactus, space abomination, and finally and inevitably, lack of sunscreen. Exactly 22 minutes. That's how long you have to solve this solar system sandbox. Death is guaranteed, but so is your reset. However, to complicate things further, those 22 minutes are not static. The solar system is a dynamic entity, its state changing and evolving each second, and what you see at one point in time will not be the same as another. Let me put it this way. If you arrive at Ground Zero on September 11th, 2001 at 9:59 AM, you'll find a pile of rubble. But had you been there at 8 AM, you could have easily spotted the thermite.
Bomb has been planted.
And thus, we have our gameplay loop. Wake up! Enact Indiana Jones in space. Die by rapidly expanding plasma. Goon. Repeat. So get cracking. Solve your species' distinct inability to survive 100 billion Kelvin and discover why are we stuck here? What's with all the alien stuff? When is Dad coming home from buying the milk? And who thought it was a good idea to put a black hole in the center of a planet? And that's about everything. If you're still listening, you're probably the target audience, as the rest have already left to play Fortnite and ask Grok why their pee-pee gets hard when they look at the family dog. So yes, go play it, but be ready to struggle. To curse in frustration as your mind grinds to sludge, before an idea sparks, a new path opens, and you push yourself forward once more. Curiosity, frustration, excitement, adventure awaits you. And occasionally horrifying existentialism, but don't worry about that, look, a kitten. For many, online reviews serve as a substitute, a neatly packaged half hour where you can watch others summarize a book, game, or anime. But for some things, to experience it yourself first is a delight, and one I offer you now. Because this is not a review, it's a promise. You will like this. But I beg you, don't pull up a guide, for victory without effort is hollow. As you stand atop your mountain and look down, the journey was everything. The satisfaction of finally sated curiosity is built upon the grueling, painful steps you took to get there. So bask in it, welcome enlightenment, and come to realize that life is fragile. An ephemeral existence forged in the cracks between giants, walking a tightrope across an abyss we call the universe. Suspended above oblivion, we're gripped by fear. What else can we do but desperately cling to survival and rage against consciousness, the greatest cruelty of an uncaring universe? Or perhaps its first and final gift, because at the end, the choice to be afraid will always be yours. Thanks for sticking around and supporting my impulsive topic choices. Thank you to Chia Cakes for voicing the little sister circumciser. True peak was achieved. Now you've played Expedition 33, do you understand why people pestered you to play it? Indeed, the French winning anything, let alone my personal game of the year, was the last thing I expected. Thoughts on Game of the Year? See previous statement. What critically acclaimed anime will you personally ensure is forgotten by the end of 2026? None, as all slop has a place at my table. Alright, join me next time for a new 5-hour ARG review, Cambodian Minesweeper.